a pleasant surprise. Fancy seeing a familiar face around this time of night. Care to join me in the carriage? The rain will only get worse, judging by how thick the clouds are. It would be a shame to ruin such elegant clothes, my dear. And a runny nose wouldn't suit you either. Good choice. You would have caught your death out there in the cold. Look at you, poor thing, all soaked. Here, take my coat. I know you're cold, you're shivering. There we go. Were you heading anywhere in particular? It's rather late for somebody like you to be walking around alone. Bad things happen to pretty faces around here, especially at this hour. Oh, you poor thing. What an unfortunate timing. The rain must have begun right when you were on your way back. I'm glad I noticed you then. It may not be far to your residence, but without an umbrella, it would have been quite an uncomfortable journey. Having you here give me an idea, however. You see, I'm on my way to the theater. Would you care to join me? If nobody's expecting you at home, of course. I plan to go with a friend of mine, but they doesn't seem like want to do some mingling tonight. So I have an extra ticket to the play, and letting it go to waste would have been quite a shame. Ah, lovely. I hope you'll be interested. Today is the opening performance of The Discarded Son, and I couldn't help myself. Well, you know, I have a weak spot for the art. And with the prospect of seeing this intriguing drama, I simply had to. It would be a pleasure to take you. And please don't feel like a replacement. I was attempting to cheer up my friend and get them among people, but it seems like they're not quite ready yet. Were the circumstances any other, I might have asked you to go with me. However, Valentine is going through a rather difficult phase at this moment, so I try to keep them from isolating. But sometimes it might be best to give people time to recover before dragging them out of their comfort zone again. After all, caterpillars too need to stay in a cocoon to become a majestic butterflies. For us human, it's more of a self-reflection than discorporation, but the result is similar enough in my opinion. Enough about that, my dear. I'm certain all will be well in due time. For now, though, would you care for a glass of mild wine? Lord Devaraj gifted me this fine bottle earlier today, and I've been pondering whom to share it with. I'm certain it will be your taste, my dear. The Lord is very careful about selecting gifts, and from what I've heard, this particular kind has a very light taste to it. And frankly, I'm not too fond of strong alcoholic notes myself. After having a fair share of drunken experiences, eventually begin tasting of bad decision and regrets, so to speak. Well, here you go. Have a taste if you like. Just be careful not to spill it on yourself, my dear. Wine stains tend to be rather tedious to clean up. I'm suppose having wine glasses in my carriage is a bit strange, but I bought them only a few moments before I noticed you on the streets. I realized my old set was, well, not a set anymore. So I figured some new glasses were in order. They were much nicer than my old ones. A lot finer too. The thin glass quite pleasant to look at, but I'm worried they might be a little fragile. I suppose I'll have them to hope they last a little longer than the previous set. The last time, a rather rowdy guest began breaking them after getting upset. Some people can handle rejection well, but others, well, begin throwing tantrums and their host wine glasses, it appears. Luckily, no one was injured and only the glasses were destroyed. All else remained mostly untouched. Drunken people tend to be quite the hassle. That's part of the reason I mostly swore off liquor. But every once in a while, a glass of wine or two with such lovely company like yourself is simply too tempting. Such pleasant flavor. I have never tasted anything like this before. Have you? It vaguely reminds me of spring. Oh dear. Are you alright? The road must have been... Oh, fuck. You're bleeding. Don't look at me. Stop. Just take the handkerchief. It may only be a small cut, but please, I beg of you, press on the wound. now. You looked, didn't you? You noticed the change in my eyes. I promise you, nothing will happen as long as you cover the wound. I said cover it now. Great, second glass broken. I still have to get used to the grip strength. You really have a death wish, don't you? For Christ's sake, no, don't take it off. Just press it on there. I'll be fine. Oh God, that smell. Listen, you have to stay calm. I can sense your heartbeats getting faster. And for Christ's sake, you have to keep holding that handkerchief. I'm not gonna repeat it again. I apologize, dear. I simply lost my temper for a moment. This situation cannot be blamed on you. I suppose it's my fault for withholding information about myself. But in my foolish mind, I hoped I'm able to keep it a secret for as long as possible. You poor thing. You look terrified. Terrible, trembling from the cold, the shock, or the fear. Perhaps all three of them. I assure you, you are safe. I can't control myself. You must think of me like some kind of maniac. And I admit, were I a normal person, then this kind of reaction would be strange, to say the least. But don't be afraid, my dear. And please, allow me to explain. You see, I've kept this from you for selfish reasons, but I've been affected with vampirism, an illness of mind and body alike, and that makes one behave more animalistic than they may wish. A sickness slowly keep chipping away your sanity until all that you are has been stripped to the core. What remains is only a poison black beating heart that offers a glimpse into what's the opposite of humanity might look like, were it boiled and filtered into the essence of pure darkness and evil. It makes the infected yearns for blood. But I never felt such strong reaction over a simple smell before. In all my years of suffering from this affliction, never has such small cut been enough to induce a switch within me. Or maybe perhaps because I know you, and because you meant something to me as a person. As cruel as implications of that would be, or perhaps it has to do with the wine, and the Lord did it on purpose to sabotage me. Or perhaps it's simply you. I was worried you would fear me once you knew about this truth. But trust me, I'm not sure how to interpret that expression on you. Are you terrified, intrigued, and shocked even? Whatever you may feel, I understand if this means from now on you prefer keeping your distance from me. I will ask the driver to get you home directly. What was that supposed to mean? How could you possibly entertain the thought of being in this confined space with me after seeing my reaction to even the tiniest drop of your blood into these hungry eyes and felt unthreatened? How can you feel comfortable knowing that at the slightest fracture of your skin I might just leap at you and I won't be able to stop myself? A friend of mine recently had an incident and they weren't able to stop themselves. I don't want you to end up like that. A lifeless body in my arms. Another casualty fallen because yet another young vampire lose control. You don't deserve to end up like that. No one deserves to end up like that. But if I could save just one person from ever enduring that same fate, it would be you. I cannot simply let you fall to your demise simply because you put your trust in me. My dear, it's selfish of me to try and befriend you. Vampires and humans should never interact with one another. I should have been more honest with you, or at least save both of us the struggle of getting involved. I might hurt you, and even if I don't, you will die within what feels like a blink of an eye. We were never meant to meet. It was foolish of me to toy with fate as I did. I cannot possibly entertain the thought of you staying near me. After these most recent events, you can never be safe by my side. And I can never truly be at ease knowing that I'm mere a paper cut away from being a mass murderer, from killing the person I care about, an innocent human being. You deserve so much better, my dear. Even if that means I can never see you again. In the end, I can't tell you what to do, but I can only suggest that it might be best to stay away. Perhaps for tonight, we can pretend none of this happened and enjoy the play together. Tomorrow will be your choice to make. Take your time to think about it, my dear. Consider the danger and weigh your options. I promise I won't be upset either way. Not like I have a choice in that matter.